So I think I'm between you and your lunch, so I will try to make it as fast as possible. And if you feel that the slides are not going okay, just raise your hand, I'll skip the slide. So, today I'm going to talk about a new topic, and this new topic is data security posture management. And that's what we'll cover, but before I move to that, I just want to ask a question and give a prize along with that. What is the most important thing to you in your mobile or in your laptop? Any comments? Personal data. Posture, password. Okay, so I give the award to the first guy. I think for any one of us, our data is most important in our mobile phones and our laptops, right? We may have all the fancy gadgets all over the place in our environment, but if they can't protect our data, it's gone. So Jagdish, please make a note of this gentleman. We have to send the prize to him. And what is happening with data? Data is going more and more out of our control. Data is everywhere. The previous speaker just spoke about data in cloud, data on various types of drives. And what are people are also going anywhere and they want to work from anywhere. And then in the FinSec, the regulators come in and they say, oh, are you compliant or not? What are you doing about this? What are you doing about this? So there are these three different dimensions which we have to converge. We need our people to work from anywhere, we let data be everywhere, and yet we be compliant. It's a very tough job, I think, which we are trying to address. And what are the problems to this in today's world? Just imagine the scale of data that you had in your own devices, in your personal laptops about 5 years ago versus today. Or if I can ask anybody in this, just be true and honest, does any one of you know how much data you have? In your own, leave your organization, just your own laptop and your mobile. I also don't know. None of us know because data keeps coming from various directions. Everybody wants copies of data and it's all floating everywhere. So the scale has changed in a big way. The context of data is also very much relevant now because a lot of analytics is being used in every aspect of data. And third is that everybody is a shareholder and stakeholder of that data today. HR will say, send me that. A finance will say, send me that. And then, as a CISO or as a CIO, you are responsible for securing and answering the board. So we need to solve this problem. The other big problem in data is all about the unseen. Just take a look at the unknowns and correlate it in your own environments. I'm sure there's a lot of unknown of a backup in your own environment. It's practical, right? I mean, nothing wrong in it, but unfortunately it's unknown. There's a lot of undiscovered. Maybe in your own environment you have data which is 5 years old. Maybe in your own environment there is a data which has got 7 copies and you are aware of only 1 copy. So we call it the rot in the data, redundant data, obsolete data. I was not liable to a specific data which was 8 years old, but I was not aware that it is in my environment. So I automatically become liable for that. So how do we kind of overcome this problem? And then the unidentified data. Everybody downloads an app, there is so much of shadow data which is floating around, and we need to solve this problem. And it is a very real problem for all of us. And why currently we are not able to do that? Because most of the products that we are buying are blind to data. Again, I'll just take a pause and let you think. Does my fancy SASE or a ZTNA understand data? For example, Venu had to fly from, taking your name, from Kochi to Mumbai for this event. Right? He used a channel. That was an aeroplane and maybe a taxi. These are channels. What was most important that Venu has to be in this event. He is the data. So does the aircraft understand that Venu is sitting over there? Does the taxi understand that Venu is sitting over there and he has to be for this event at so-and-so time? They don't care. The flight is delayed because of some technical issues. So all these channels who are providing you great web security, cloud security, do they understand data, what is floating inside it? Is a real problem which we need to answer. The second problem is that all of them interpret data in a different way. Data is the most important thing, but everybody interprets in a different way, therefore there is no proper outcome which we are getting. And similar kind of challenges are there in terms of how they understand the data layer, do they understand the metadata of that, and how many different policies I am applying for different types of channels that I have. There's one guy with a team of 5 people who's managing my web channel. There is one guy who's sitting and managing my cloud channel. There is the Amazon trained guy. So all of them are looking at data very differently. And what are all the analysts saying? They are saying that all of us are investing a lot in advanced security. Right? We are investing in very good proactive products and solutions. But how many of us are on this left side looking at the foundation? Foundation is about, do I know what is my risk? Do I know how much data I have? Can I automatically understand when new data is generated? Because that's what I'm going to protect by putting a firewall from something bad coming into my environment, or maybe a malware should not come into me. So how do we really solve is something which all analysts are saying, that we need to look at the foundation of our environments. And that's what as Forcepoint we are trying to solve. And these are the broad, very common words, but number one, we need to understand where all is my data and how much data is where all. Second is that whatever data I have, what is the sensitivity of that data? Is it confidential? Is it financial? Is it public? Can somebody tell me about that? Third is, where is this data flowing? If I can understand where the data is flowing, possibly I can take better measures. Because maybe some data has flown to someone whose access is open, and that person can be the leak point. Then how do we really prevent any loss of data? And towards this, we just launched our AI-powered, so AI is good, bad, ethical, non-ethical, but we are just trying to use AI for its advantages. So we have trained a private narrow AI. What do I mean by private? This AI will be your private AI. We will not take any data from you. And what does the narrow AI stand for? Narrow is that this AI primarily understands data. So we have trained this AI to understand various types of data. What is a PAN number? What is an Aadhaar number? What is a loan account number? What does a driving license look like? And it could very seamlessly start understanding data using the AI. And then we make it a private AI and hand over to you so that you can further train that data by machine learning. So for example, I have schematics of a car which I'm going to launch, some engineering drawing. So I will tell my schematics look like this, therefore you need to get trained, and whenever you see this kind of schematic, pop up an alert. So this is the outcome which you get. It helps you identify all your data. We understand a lot of languages in India, we understand Hindi languages also. It will give you an identification of all your data first of all. Second is that it will help you categorize the data. This is the PII data, for example. Then it will help you classify this data again automatically, so you don't have to do any manual classification, which is left to the interpretation of the individual. And lastly, it will help you profile your data. How much duplicate data do I have? How much redundant data do I have? And then effectively utilize the control and be smarter around that. And these are the various types of risks which you will mitigate. These are the kind of dashboards which you will get. So this dashboard says that I have total 8,000 assets of data. This much data is on AWS. This much data is on Azure. This much is on OneDrive. This graph gives that from a data sovereignty perspective, this data was supposed to be in Europe, but this part of the data is sitting in US. It gives you a risk score also from a data security posture perspective. This is all brand new in this world. This is the new approach which all companies are taking, a data security posture management approach. Another dashboard could be, out of my 8,000 assets I have, which are my sensitive assets? These are my 1,500 sensitive assets. And Mr. Vince Chalhan has got 54 of them. So you will come to know who's having your sensitive data. And this is all, again, without human intervention. This is all happening automatically, and an outcome is coming to you. This is another different type of dashboard which says the risk analysis. For example, this critical data was sitting, but that guy has got public read access over here. So unfortunately, you could have lost this kind of data. This is an overexposed confidential data. So different types of dashboards you can get as an outcome. I will not go into too much details. And this is a summary of a solution which says, look left. Just don't put a DLP solution which will help the data loss. But also first discover your own data. Get some data visibility. Classify that data. Then you protect that data, and once you are protecting that data, also take into factor an approach where human, like I am the MD of Forcepoint, I have the right to download as much data I want from corporate. But they are seeing that Aman is downloading and emailing it to his personal ID. His behavior is not okay. So it's called risk adaptive protection. So take the behavior into account and accordingly upgrade or downgrade the privilege of that individual. So that's the overall solution set which we can provide to you. I'll not go into these details, but this just talks about how we use the neural networks, how do we use the natural language models in achieving this AI/ML based data discovery and data classification. These are some of the attributes which you could get from a data visibility, the grouping of the data, how to organize and prepare your data. So and so person is resigning. So the moment he says I have resigned, can I figure out how much data that person has got? So that's the outcome which you will get. This is the risk adaptive protection wherein basis the controls. So if there is a critical data, automatically his risk score should go up and the privilege should go down. And this again will happen automatically. So that's the approach. And last but not the least, we say that data security and network security or SASE cannot be seen separately. If I'm buying a CASB, that CASB has to understand data also. And there is going to be a convergence, and therefore our vision is a data first SASE, a data first approach. If I'm making a policy for one channel, can I apply that across all my channels? If I can do that and manage from a single dashboard, that's what is going to solve my problem. If I have done good for my web, but what about my custom apps? What about my third-party users who are coming in? So towards that, as Forcepoint, we've launched the platform called Forcepoint One. We've taken a platform approach. On the north of it, you can see all the possible channels, including generative AI. Anybody want to adopt generative AI safely? Please reach out to Forcepoint. We have ready solution with most of the vendors who offer generative AI. They are working and they open their APIs with us so that they can directly integrate, and we can give you an environment that in your environment, so much of generative AI you're using, and this is a sensitive data which is flowing. Your web channel, your email channel, and the south side of this is all types of users. I could be an office user, I could be a remote user, I could be a contractor. In between is the Forcepoint One platform. And this platform has got all the capabilities. So we have the best CASB, we have the web security, we have the ZTNA, and the works which we can discuss much later. This is a little bit around DPDP, because all of us will be thinking around DPDP will come. How do I really go about it now? So one thing about DPDP is that there are three broad pillars. Data lifecycle is something where you need to, as a fiduciary of data, you are a data fiduciary. And the individuals from whom you are collecting data are data principals. And you need to make sure that data collection is done in the right way, the data processing is done in the right way, data storage and transfer is done in the right way, and there is accountability for any loss of data. So as Forcepoint, apart from consent management, we can help you meeting all the requirements of DPDP from a technology perspective, and we can marry it with your processes. How do we do that? I don't want to go into the details, but if you see the block on top, all types of data, first you should come to know what is there, where it is there. Second, it is classified, then data in motion across network, endpoint, cloud, generative AI, you come to know, and then you start answering who, what, where, how, and what action to be done for that person who's using that data. Of course, these are all the ratings which we have got as leaders by various analysts. This is just to boost your confidence. I mean, otherwise I don't know if there's any relevance or not. But most of the companies or the analysts have rated us in the leader space, whether it is SSC or whether it is data security. And we are, by the way, 30-year-old company. We are not a brand new kid on the block. We have lots and lots of people, lots and lots of pedigree, which helps us do better. We've been acquiring companies with a single vision of creating a zero trust strategy. And these are the companies which we acquired in last 3 years, and we should acquire more in this year as well. This is the brand new office which we opened in Thane, Hiranandani. It's a 1,000-seater innovation center where we can work with the FinSec and help you solve your problems. We have 1,000 top-class engineers sitting out of this. And this is a demo, but you may just want to skip it. This demo is just a 30 seconds demo. It kind of shows you how you can select a specific drive. Say, for example, OneDrive. I want to know how much data I have on my OneDrive, for example. And I just click on OneDrive, and I just click on this. The scan will automatically begin. And it will start popping up various attributes of your data. What is the file type? What kind of data is there? Who is having access to this data? What kind of classification is there to that data? Everything will just pop up. So this is just a demo. I'll just skip this demo, but this is how you get an outcome within hours. So our data visibility does not take months to give you an output. It gives you like within days. And these are the outcomes which we can discuss. Thank you very much. She's really staring at me. I have to say thank you.